Lieven. Today I'm going to look at your website, the prices.org, in terms of user testing experience, leads, like conversion rate and stuff like that. And as always, I do a first look. So I opened up the tabs, but I haven't looked at them. But now I'm going to go into it. First off, I want to mention, again, I'm sorry for the delay and really long time in terms of the wait. Usually that's not how I like to do it, but this time it wasn't possible any different. So I'm sorry for that. And now I'm going to jump right into your website. Based on the price, I already noticed that it's overall about all kinds of pricings, and it looks like it is about Bitcoin and all kinds of cryptocurrencies. Now, generally speaking, I would say, first of all, I'm impressed by the URL you have. That's really something quite powerful. And then if I look at the website, just to kind of like get an idea of what I can do here, as far as what I can grasp in terms of what's happening here, apparently it is blinking whenever there is some kind of update happening. I'm not quite sure in terms of what the different colors mean, whether like purple means there's no change, green means there's an uptick. I'm not quite sure what those colors mean, and there's, as far as I can see, there's not really any legend that will tell me that. But it looks like a really cool implementation to update this frequently and have that go on all the time. Now, you mentioned conversion rate, and I'm guessing that one of the ideas in terms of conversion rate is this trade button right here. And maybe that is something that needs to be more visible in terms of being literally like a button. That could be one way to really bring that out more, because right now buy sell doesn't really tell me anything. It looks, in terms of the font and everything, it looks exactly the same as everything else in this line, which is not necessarily something that I would expect to even be something to click on. So it's very much hidden away. So that could be something that you can increase, maybe even create some kind of an interesting button there. I don't know if you, like, whenever you refer someone over there, maybe you can offer something, or maybe there is a offer attached to that. So for example, like trade for I don't know, if Beyonce has some kind of a upsell or offer for new people that sign up, so something like the first 14 days there is no transaction fees or something like that. I'm not sure if that's something that is actually available, but you could mention that there. It's like sign up to trade and get 14 days of free whatever, if there is any of those options. Other than that, it's literally just making it more visible, I think, would be a great idea to increase people to actually clicking through. Then again, it is also something to be said that these kind of websites are oftentimes something that people use for just that, and like looking at the coins and looking at the price charts, especially with something that you have here with this like super updating and just very, very, very current thing. That's something I think a lot of people will just use and look at and not necessarily buy through. However, of course, like you can always find new people, and that could be powerful, and those then go and buy and sign up through your offer. This advertising here, I guess you're making ads, like money with AdSense here. That's fine. It doesn't really do much. The load more didn't do anything for me. I don't know if that's something that is normal, or if that's something that's, if 50 coins are all that you track, and the load more could be hidden away at that stage. I think in general also down here in terms of the contact us and stuff like that, maybe you can put some more information, or if you want to, you could even put another advertisement down here. But I would probably put more like a news ticker or something from your blog and stuff like that. Put that here so that people can get intrigued in terms of what's going on the website, other than these things over here. But this is, generally speaking, I think a really cool table and information, and also the ability to like, yeah, oh, look at that. So there are more results than 50, but the load more doesn't seem to quite work. I just changed the chart sort order, and then I clicked on the load more, and it didn't do anything. And what do we have now? Now we have a problem. Now the site doesn't show any results anymore, which is quite interesting. And I'm not sure what happened here. So that's interesting. I have no idea what happened and what we did, but now it's back. So that's interesting. Again, now the load more is also working. So I'm not sure what happened there. I don't know if this is your website. I just am using very much the current version of Google Chrome, and so I'm not sure what exactly happened there and why the load more didn't function at the first stage. But to come back to this, I think it's a really cool thing. Now going into one of the coins itself to kind of like see what you're offering here. Okay, so you're again having a very much updating and speedy. I'm quite impressed at how fast everything's updating on your site. That's cool. Now you also introduced the follow on Twitter, which is interesting that you didn't have that on the prices.org homepage, but instead you put it on the coins and stuff like that. You have the news here. Okay, that's interesting. And then you have the buy Bitcoin, which is again your referral. Again, I think it might make more sense to give someone more intrigue here. Again, these offer ideas that I mentioned before, if there is some kind of an offer, that's something that's quite helpful. The share this on sections, I think, probably would be more powerful if you put it somewhere more at the top. This here seems to be a little bit just, I don't know if this is necessary here. It's kind of in the middle of everything, but there's a lot of white space not being used here, where the form or like the chart could already be way up here already. This ticker line up here, it's interesting that it comes through once, but it might be more like it's kind of not cool that it stops coming around. So maybe if you can make it so that it is actually going around all the time, so the BTC, as soon as the list is over, that it starts again with BTC, and so that it continuously goes through and it doesn't just go through once and then it's over. I think that could be an interesting idea here to add. I like that it stops when you put the mouse over it, so you can actually hold it and click and find out what you want to know more about those things. In terms of the next site that you mentioned, oh, this is interesting. Now, there seems to be some kind of loading issue with the site. And I have a fairly decent computer and also internet connection, so I'm not sure if it's that. But now I opened the Bitcoin page that you linked in the Fiverr, and it seems like there's, instead of this Beyonce here, it actually shows another graph. And that's exactly what I meant in the beginning, right? When I said that I think there's a lot of white space up here. And on this page, I see that there is another chart. So that's really cool. I, again, don't really understand exactly what the issue is that this is not shown on this page. Now, if I reload this page, maybe it's coming up then. But for some reason, it doesn't. So Monero in this case, let's go back to BTC here, prices.org, Bitcoin, and there's no chart showing. And on this one, it is showing. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on. But in general, I have to say, cool to include both of these, the candlestick and then also these more general charts that everybody probably can understand, even if they're not that deeply into the industry. I like all the overview, all the information. I really like the updating that you do on the website, that it's a stream of data. That's really powerful, I think. I think again this still Beyonce here in the middle of everything. It doesn't really say anything to me as a user. I don't really necessarily care, and I noticed that when this chart updates, it does something funky with this little drawing down here that it seems to be doing something. So that might also be something that's kind of just annoying over time when I'm having this chart open for longer periods of time. Other than that, I think these pages are fine, just like this one is probably exactly the same, and it's doing the same. Apparently the Ethereum trades aren't showing up on your site at the moment, or it's just me again and this section is not loading. Oh, there they are. So that's working as well. Okay, interesting, yep. Now to the cryptocurrency news and then the portfolio. Okay, so let's have a look here. So in terms of the news, you seem to be crawling a lot of RSS feeds and just pulling all that data together, which can be quite interesting for someone because it is something that is helpful to have all the information in one place. I think that in terms of legibility or readability, it's not necessarily the best setup. In terms of intrigue, maybe there's pictures attached to some of these articles, and that would be something to include those. I also believe that a little bit more white space is something that can be quite helpful. These link and comments and those kind of things aren't really helpful. I don't know if that's something that you can get rid of in terms of the type of Reddit information that you get from the RSS feed, but just making it that it actually shows more information. And even if you go as far as, for example, like if I were to compare it, I would say, for example, the news.im, this one here. If you look at this site, for example, and take a little bit of an inspiration in terms of the design for your news site, in this case, for example, what they do is they only have the title, and then they have these information pieces here, which in your case, I would probably just have the date, maybe even up down to the time from when it is. And then when someone hovers it, then you have some kind of a tooltip that shows the person more of the down here area, for example. And that way you can provide much more information in one place, but also keep in mind to have white space. So as you see on this page as well, there's a spacing between things, and there's also, like in this case, they number them because it's ranked in terms of like 1, 2, 3 and stuff like that. But having a little bit more white space, having a little bit more contrast, blue writing on blue background, for example, isn't necessarily something that I would suggest. But yeah, making it more readable, having a little bit more space between things, and potentially putting information like these types of information here, putting that into the title or some kind of mouse over effect that you can create here so that it overall becomes a little bit more of an overview of the information, more of a directory like that. Then we have the portfolio page that you mentioned, cryptocurrency. Okay, what is this? Okay, so you are providing information about your portfolio. Okay, so as far as I can see, basically you're saying you're currently buying all these, you're holding them all long term. You would buy up to a certain, like you would buy up to this point or up to $1 and so on. And you have the live prices provided from your website here. Okay. Okay, I think this is interesting. It's something that definitely like someone has to read through to understand. I would have some kind of a marker up here, or like some kind of different headline that already describes a little better what you are having on this page. For example, our cryptocurrency portfolio, or our example portfolio, or something like that, or our current holding, selling, buying stance, or something like that. The idea being that right now, if I click on portfolio, my first initial thought was that I can set up my own portfolio, that I can say, this is what I have, and then it tracks those for me, so I can see my personal my personal information about that. Now I understand it better in terms of this text up here, but it is a lot of text you have to kind of like go through to understand exactly what is meant on this page, what this page actually provides. So I think that some kind of a different headline could be helpful. Now, in terms of what you mentioned as well, to have people stick around and stay on the site and also become long-term fans, I would say, I think that there's something to be said about building a community in some way, which can be quite helpful, and something in this especially to, oh, now I'm, okay, referenced over to Beyonce. I want to go back to this place where you mentioned your own Twitter account, because that's something that I noticed. It's not really that present, right? Like, you mentioned it on the portfolio. You mentioned it when I click on one of the when I click on one of the coins to track it, or when I click on one of the coins to actually see that information, then I can see that too. Now, if I go back to this, for example, I can click here and follow this account here. However, okay, yes, so I can follow you here, and you're active here, and I think that that's something that's really cool, but it's not something that is visible. Like right now, it's not even on the contact page. It's not in the footer down here. It's not at the top somewhere. I think it could be something to build more of a community, build more of a fan base, to also not just have news here, but also actually providing your own information. Because at the moment you're pulling in data from all kinds of places. You're pulling in the pricing and stuff like that. You're pulling in these RSS feeds, which I'm not exactly sure how much that provides in terms of value for someone. Instead, maybe it's something to actually publish your own information, right? Like publish your own blog posts, publish your own tweets and stuff like that. Bring people together here. Give them also more tools in that sense. But interestingly, you have convert, wallet, exchange. Okay, so this is more, I'm guessing more of a resource kind of situation. Okay, convert, you can actually convert on the page. That's good. That's something where you tell people about different kinds of wallets, I'm assuming, something like that. This would be something where I would say it's a great idea to have affiliate offers. Make this page some kind of a resource section and actually provide value that way, that people can sign up to those things, or maybe even go to a shop and buy these items, so that you can actually, again, earn an affiliate commission on that. And then you have the exchanges, which is pretty much exactly the same that I just mentioned. Like, make these more beautiful and also include affiliate offers, and give people the opportunity to support you in creating this website by signing up through these resources. Something that I want to mention as well is that in terms of design, there's a lot you can do. And now, generally speaking, about the design and the impression that I get, the blue colors are quite nice. They're very standard and very, I think they're trust emitting or something like that, if you could look at color guidelines and stuff like that. I think the menu that you provide at the top here is very minimal and helpful. I think that the service that you provide with these ever updating price graphs and everything is quite helpful, and really something that's quite cool as an implementation. I think that the next step for you would be to build that following, build a community, and not only have them go through the affiliate offer that you're offering right now, which is a one-time deal. You don't get any information from the person that is going to the website, right? Like, you're literally just displaying the information for someone to browse your site, and then they're gone. And I think that's something that you could work on changing. And one of the ideas that I would have, for example, is to I would immediately start opening up a newsletter if I were to if I were to run this website. I would start a newsletter. I would offer that down here at the bottom. I would just bring it basically to every single page on this website, and then make some kind of a roundup. Maybe it's a news roundup of the most important articles that you found over the last week, or something like that. But like providing some kind of inner community thing that you can build a list with. And with that list, you can do so many things. You can eventually market to them affiliate offers. So even in the newsletter, you could have the BNC, like something to mention that as an affiliate offer. Then you can also give the people news about the website and its development and how you're changing it and what's currently going on. Of course, you can also do that with Twitter. However, the Twitterverse, or like the Twitter platform, I think is overcrowded and people don't necessarily pay attention. However, if you have someone sign up to your email newsletter, that's really something that people are still opening, and the click-through rates are still, statistically speaking, still very much the top-notch place where you can get people's information, where you can grow a community, where you can grow a fan base that's loyal, that may even want to donate and support you if you're providing valuable information on the regular. And then you can, as I mentioned, you can also tell them about new products, new offerings on your site as well, changes, updates, what you're developing, and how they're now able to use this platform in a different way. And you can also talk about these different wallets and exchange rates and exchange platforms and stuff like that, and make those again as an affiliate offer. Or if you want to do some kind of affiliate offer with online courses and stuff like that. So becoming a publishing company, so to speak, right? Like, you are currently a tech company that is providing ever updating data on the website, which is cool, but building this kind of stay customer that is actually going to stay on your website, that's coming back to your website and doing that over and over again, I think that's something that you have to work on. And that's something that is really interesting to build into the whole thing. So a newsletter sign up, at least in the footer, maybe even at the top at some kind, having it in the menu bar. I would probably even put it there. Of course, putting it on the different sites of the coins, as well as the tools that you have here, making the tools and wallets and stuff like that, making those a little more pretty, I would say. Maybe even having their logos and making it kind of like a card. So it's like have the Jax here, and then you have my Ether wallet here, and then you have blockchain info here, and then Exodus here, and like making those a little more attractive, let's say. And as I mentioned, bringing in the affiliate offers here, bringing in the affiliate codes and sign up things on this page as well. So overall, those are my general thoughts about the platform that you're building here. I think overall, like the biggest thing that you have here is the domain name. The prices.org is insane as a domain name. It's very very cool that you got that. And I would now start one, fixing the issues that are happening right now in terms of the numbers not showing up sometimes, which is happening for me quite a lot, and I'm not sure why that's happening. So that's a technical thing that you might want to look into. And then also, like I said, building these community aspects, building an email list, building some kind of a sign up into the website that you can collect data for and about your customers, so that way you can actually stay in contact with them and tell them about changes, tell them about affiliate offers, tell them about the platform and how it's developing, and that way you can have that returning customer, because they will then get information from you on a weekly basis, and you can just stay in contact with them, and hopefully they will, over the long term, be a valuable customer to you. So with all of these information pieces being said, I hope this was helpful for you. If you have any questions about anything that I mentioned in this overview, please let me know and just send me a message through Fiverr, and I look forward to hearing from you. And again, I'm sorry that it took a little longer than usual for me to provide this information for you. And I hope that you have an incredible week and yeah, have a lot of success with your website and your building of this company. Ciao, ciao.